Today I want to talk about something that we cannot live without, but it's also something that we struggle to figure out how to live with. One night I was on Instagram Reels and I came across this picture right here. Never forget what they took from you. I love this picture. You got the 90s built playground with the castles and the tunnels and the bridges. And then below it, you got an emotionless, characterless 2010s built playground. This image is funny until it isn't, because this really isn't about playgrounds. It's about what we've taken from an entire generation of children. We've given them screens and called it progress. I'm sure all of you are aware that unrestricted device use is not good for children. The research is pretty overwhelming. But what matters the most is that we're not doing anything about it. Jonathan Haidt, a social psychologist and author of the book The Anxious Generation, talks about this. He says, the two biggest mistakes we've made as a society in this modern technology era is that we've overprotected kids in the real world, where they have to learn from experience, and underprotected them online, where they are particularly vulnerable during puberty. He also talks about a style of childhood that's emerging, that's more popular than ever, one where the child stays home on a device and they develop what he calls a threat mode brain, where their stress levels are higher, they are in a constant state of anxiety, and their brain perceives everyday life as a threat. This is contrary to what he calls a discover mode childhood, where the children are out and about, climbing trees, getting real world experiences. The children in a discover mode childhood are happier, healthier, more sociable, and more open to new experiences. So what happens when kids don't go outside? Dr. Jody LaVos talked about this in an article in Psychology Today 2022. She said, quote, outdoor play is associated with an uptick in interactions among children. They make more friends. It's also really important to the development of key social and emotional skills, such as initiating play, negotiating roles, interpreting others' reactions, and navigating conflict. These aren't just soft skills. These are skills that will benefit someone the rest of their lives. These are skills that determine whether someone's successful in a career, whether a relationship is happy and healthy, and whether or not someone succeeds in life when life isn't going their way. So, as I was talking to one of my professors, Dr. Justin Weedman in the construction management department, he further emphasized this point. I asked him what character attributes are most important for a successful career, and he said, it doesn't matter how much you know, because you can always learn more. But those people who are able to build trust, build real relationships, and handle difficult situations with maturity, those are the people who have long-lasting careers and are successful in life. These aren't just construction-specific skills. These are skills that play in any society, in any profession, in the whole wide world. But we're engineering them out of our kids. But what stuck out to me the most is that I couldn't find one form of research, an essay, a video, a study that said unrestricted device use is good for our kids. Not one. But we're not doing anything about it. On the contrary, it affects even the youngest and most vulnerable more than we think. Veronica Conkin, in a study, Does This Cure Temper Tantrums?, looked at how do devices affect kids experiencing a temper tantrum. She said the parents of children who experience more temperamental-based anger use devices more as emotional regulators. They give their kids devices more often when they're throwing a tantrum. But this strategy hinders the development of self-regulation. It also contributes to a lack of effortful control and less anger management. So what do we do? Our kids are less emotionally regulated. They can't control themselves as well as they could in the day. So what do? I really don't think we need to do much, and I don't think we need to throw phones overboard. But I do think we need to be intentional. We need to have phone-free hours during the day. Maybe it's mornings, meals, or maybe it's when the kids get back from school. We need kids to get outside and have unregulated play. And we need to stop using devices as emotional pacifiers. We need kids to feel and process their emotions and let that discomfort teach them. Now, I understand what I'm saying is not revolutionary, nor is it new, but it is a return to the way children have developed for thousands of years before devices. This generation of children is the first generation of children to grow up in a screen world. They don't know childhood without screens like we do. So they can't advocate for themselves. They're too young and the products are too addictive. So that makes it our responsibility to help them. The research is there. The knowledge is there. What's lacking is the urgency. Let today be the day that we find it.